Episode
48. John, I don't mean to disappoint you, or our clients that listen, as a matter of fact, but I'm sat here, with the best drink man has ever made. I can't believe it has taken me so long to rediscover Bovril and how fucking brilliant it is. What a drink!
It's diarrhea.
It's yes.
No, it is essentially actually diarrhea. That's how they make it. Didn't you ever know that?
What, from Gerard's ass?
Gerard, fucking hell. Honestly, this is one of the funniest stories I've got. Right, I'm like 56 years on this planet. I've worked as a doorman. I've done some fucking stupid stuff in my life and seen some stupid stuff. This is one of the funniest. We just moved over. We'd been in a matter of weeks, and we lived at the other house down the bottom of the lane. And I'm not making this up, but one day we're driving home from the shops, and there's a car coming down the hill. And Sarah says, "Oh, it looks like Ernie and Doreen's car." Ernie and Doreen being our elderly next door neighbours in the UK, 500 miles away. And it was. So they came in to the drive and they said, "Well, we knew you'd moved over here. We knew you were in the area. We were on holiday in Ireland. We've been out for a drive. We thought we'd come and say hello. We didn't know you lived here. You know, we knew the rough area, but fine." We invited them in for a cup of tea, Ernie and Doreen, and there was Gerard, this bloke, and his missus, whose name escapes me. So we're all sitting in the front room, and I wasn't very comfortable because I don't like people in the house, but I was polite enough. So there's me and Sarah and Imogen, my stepdaughter, and these other four. So there's 7 people in the room. And Gerard says, "Have you got a downstairs lavatory at all?" So Sarah says, "Yeah, sure." So she takes him through the house to the downstairs, and it's a full wet room, because now, you know, in Ireland, when you build houses, you have to have a downstairs. It has to be accessible. Now, the way she led him through the house, it would have been out the living room, down the hall, through the kitchen, turn left, through the utility room, turn left into the downstairs toilet, bathroom. Well, it's a full circuit of the house. So although he's walked quite a long way, it's a big house, he's walked a long way in a circle. So in reality, he's no more than probably 10 feet from where he was sitting before. So the only thing between him now in the toilet and the sofa where his wife and Imogen and Ernie and Doreen and the rest of the room where we're all sitting is, 10 feet. There's a thin wall and a fucking really thin, cheap pine door. So we're all sitting there talking. All of a sudden there's this... It's fucking explosive defecation. We're talking fucking splats as it hits the water, massive fucking farts, groans of relief from Gerard. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this isn't fucking happening. He's having a fucking explosive shit no more than 10 feet from where we're all sitting, and this is the biggest fuck off elephant in the entire room you can possibly imagine, because no one wants to say, "Hey, Gerard's having a shit." His wife went fucking crimson with rage.
With rage?
Yeah, because she's imagine in that generation, he's embarrassing her. You've got around to this person's house you've never met, and your husband has just gone fucking postal in the toilet. We're talking Hiroshima, Nagasaki all rolled into one on my bog. No more than 10 feet away. Oh, fucking hammer. I just carried on talking, and I studiously made eye contact with Doreen and did not look away. And it was really quite uncomfortable because I don't make eye contact very much like that. And I thought, if I look at Sarah, I'm going to start laughing. And if I start laughing, it could actually kill me because I won't be able to breathe. And anyway, this seemed to go on for hours. It couldn't have been more than a few minutes. And he came back. We heard him flush and we heard him shuffle back in. And he walks in the room. And even I could see the look his wife gave him. He's like, "What?" And of course, no one said, "Oh, did you enjoy that, Gerald?" Because we certainly did, or anything like that. He just sat down and, oh man, the conversation was, we talk about anything but what you've just done, Gerard. It was fucking brilliant, honestly.
Oh God.
I can't. And of course, the bathroom was huge and echoey.
Just
so it wasn't
reverberating.
Fucking hell. Oh man.
John, I have questions.
You ask away.
One, why did Sarah take him the long way through the house if there was a shorter way?
Well, because the bathroom, the downstairs bathroom had a door and there was a sofa in front of it.
Oh,
So we didn't use that way into that bathroom.
Makes sense. That makes sense. I thought it was going to be a tour of the house situation.
No. We didn't use that door.
He's probably thinking, I'm so far away.
Yeah, exactly. They'll never hear this bugger. There we are. We're probably near like 7 or 8 feet away, you know.
Oh my God.
Seriously, it was fucking hideous. But it's so funny, man. And it was him going,
no, he's not groaning.
He's groaning, yeah. He's going, He must have been holding that fucking. Could you imagine now the conversation in the car? Because it was Dorian and Ernie's car, so his wife would not have been able to have a go at him on the spot. But when they were alone, can you imagine the conversation? Can you?
Oh God, that's so fucking funny.
She's probably not spoken to him since. That was 14 years ago. Right?
Divorce on the spot.
Fucking hilarious, man.
Second, did he have enough toilet roll?
I'd imagine so, because he didn't come back looking messy or anything. So I'd imagine so.
Thirdly,
that was the least of my concerns, to be honest.
Thirdly, did you go and have a good sniff after?
Oof, can you imagine that? I don't remember if it smelled or not.
I was going to say, imagine if the smell wafted under the doorway.
I got the feeling, I got the feeling Sarah says I won't go in there for a while. None of it. Stay out there for a bit. Nailed the door shut for a few weeks.
And lastly, how long did they sit and chat for after the ordeal? And how hard did you laugh once they left?
Once they left, I was in fucking fits. I was useless for the rest of the night. I had tears running down my face, and Sarah was the same. I mean, they didn't stay for hours and hours, but they didn't rush out straight away. But,
that's so funny.
They didn't stay for tea or anything. I think they had a cup of tea and went, but, fucking hell, man.
The biggest elephant ever.
We still laugh about it, me and Sarah. I've written emails, daily email about it. I'll probably use it on Saturday, because save me writing a special one, you know. Gerard's enormous shit. It was fucking hilarious. It was probably the funniest thing that's ever happened to me.
God, that is funny. That's fucking funny.
Told you.
I just imagine him thinking, I'm in a lovely wet room, and in this lovely farmhouse, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm miles away because I've had to walk fucking 5 minutes to get to the toilet. I can just release in peace.
No one will ever know.
No one will ever know the destruction I'm about to unleash on this
between me and the bathroom.
Yeah. It'd be even funnier if you heard him having a little chat to himself. Oh man. I'm glad they can't hear this.
Will you go away? Stop it.
John's talking to the dogs, not me. Even though he probably wishes he could say that to me. Sometimes. Yeah. Well, the big mistake everyone makes when it comes to shitting is groaning too loudly. Because when I'm in the local Tesco, I've got a weak bladder, so I tend to go for a quick piss. And there always seems to be some stinky cunt in there with no shame in a public bathroom, where it's just a bit of cardboard separating you anyway. It's not like a fully tucked away thing. And you can hear him laying napalm and then going, that's good.
Well, they're not wrong though, are they? It is good. I mean, let's face it, there's two fundamental truths in life. There's nothing worse than a bad fuck, and nothing better than a good shit.
A good shit's great. A good shit
and
is
a bad
great.
fuck,
However, just hold your mum.
Yeah, but it's predicated on the idea you give a shit what other people think, if you forgive my language, Pardon the pun.
Absolutely true. However, surely you've got to have some self-decency to not fucking groan loudly in a public toilet whilst laying a log.
Well, it reminds me actually, something very similar. I was at work, I was probably about 1991, 92. That's a few years ago now, before you were born. I was just in the bathroom at work, and I heard the door slam open behind me, and then a cubicle door slammed shut, and I heard this fucking hurried sound of trousers going down, and this followed by a, and it was my boss. My boss only just fucking made it. It must have been touching cloth, you know.
Oh, bless
Turtle's head poking out.
I've got a shit story, but I might save mine for tomorrow. Or should I
Yeah, we don't want to use them all at once. So I got another shit story. That'll do for another day as well.
So it's like 3
You can
episodes
never have
in
too
a row.
much scatology, can you?
We're gonna have scat stories 3 days on the trot. Oh,
Anyway,
God. Speaking of scat, well, I started that sentence by saying the big mistake everyone makes when it comes to shitting. It was a very shit, pardon the pun, transition to what I actually wanted to talk about. Well, what I actually want you to talk about, and that's the big sales mistake everyone is making.
Yeah, good segue that was.
It was a shit segue.
Well, notwithstanding Gerard and the enormous shit, I mean, it is a big sales mistake, but it's a mistake people make in all areas of their lives. So if you take this advice to heart, not just in your sales thing, but this is what we're talking about at the moment, that is focusing on what they don't control rather than what they do. And most obvious here in sales is they focus on the outcome they want and not the process they use to get there. Meaning, I mean, it manifests itself in many ways. I mean, if you've got just say a sales presentation, so say you're in a kitchen showroom and someone just walks in. So it might be a short-term thing. Someone walks in and you make a sales pitch, and you really want to sell this because you want to get commission or whatever, or maybe you just want the business. But even it manifests itself in the long term, where people will put in a lot of work to sweet talk contracts. And we actually had one of our guys that they've now left us. We had one of our guys saying he'd put, was it 18 hours working? Put 18 hours working to a proposal, as he called it, and then a load of groundwork, not actual work, but a load of background work, only to be told he'd gone with someone cheaper. Or, as often is the case, you'll get someone say, I love what you're proposing, but we've sent the same proposal to a competitor of yours who said they'll do it for less. What can you do? That can only happen because you're focused on the outcome and not the process. So, the number one, the most, there's loads of things you can learn about sales. I mean, you can either go down the Zig Ziglar route of having all these canned pitches and things, which is evidently effective because people did it and people probably still do it. Human beings haven't fundamentally changed. So to say the old methods don't work anymore is wrong. They undoubtedly do. But there are better ways of doing it, probably. And certainly when I say better, I don't mean maybe more efficient, maybe more relaxing to the person doing it, maybe more effective, better in many different ways. And to me, more preferable ways that to me that are more ethical. And that is to focus on process rather than the outcome. Whether I make the sale or not is outside my control. I have no control over that at all. Because ultimately, I've had sales calls myself where I've been convinced the person's going to say yes. It makes no sense for them to say no, but they still do. Well, what do? I don't get pissed off about it. I just, like I said to people, you ask yourself, why do people do that? Why do people have this burning problem and have the solution laid out in front of them? It's a no-brainer. They still say no. Why do they do that? The only answer I've got, and it's not a very satisfactory one, is because that's what people like that do. Mm-hmm. There's no other answer. So you got to understand that you will get people like this, and it's so frustrating. It really is frustrating. Holly's feeling it right now. Sometimes frustration with people because she says, why don't they just do the smart thing? Because that's what people like that do. So focus on the things you control. And that is why I say to people, have a sales script. People who say they're going to wing their sales, they're deluding themselves. And usually it's through cowardice or ignorance. It's not through any rational thought process. I'm better winging it. No, you're not. You're just not. It's bullshit. It's a lie. Yeah, you might convince yourself, but it doesn't make any sense to say a random process I make up as I go along every single time is better than a structured one, which I've planned out in advance and tested and tweaked over time from experience. I just don't buy that at all. by all means prove me wrong, but I'm not buying it on the face of it. You know, we have, for instance, airline pilots who are extremely experienced. They have thousands of hours in the air. Before they take off, they go through rigorous checklists, actual fucking paper, and they have 2 of them doing it. And they cross-check. Well, those guys could probably take off without any of that, but they don't, because it's safer and makes more sense to use checklists. If it's good enough for fucking airline pilots, it's good enough for you as a salesperson. It really is.
Absolutely.
So focus on process, take the steps. And, you know, after every say 10 sales presentations, calls or whatever, you might close 3, 5, 7, 9. I don't know what your number is. It doesn't matter. But you do know that out of those 10 on average, you will get that number. Each individual one is outside your control and largely irrelevant.
People are...
Go on, sorry.
Go on. I was just going to say, people are irrational. So there is literally no point in getting caught up when people say no. As you said, if you give them the perfect solution and it ticks every box and it will make their life perfect, there is every chance that company will still say no, just simply because humans are irrational, unpredictable beings. Is quite simple. And to continue the theme of irrationality, it's also irrational to be so afraid of hearing no.
Yeah. And my view is I want to hear no as soon as possible. But, you know, if I'm going to get a no, I want it straight away.
Yeah.
Because that frees up my time and energy.
So much time, so much energy.
So obviously you can't really ask are you going to buy from us? Are you in or are you out question right at the beginning? Because that makes no sense. They don't even know what they're saying yes to. But you can answer questions which, if the answer is no, it stops the call straight away. Such as, I've said this many, many times before, at the beginning of a sales call, I will say, at the end of the call, I may invite you to join us. And if I do, I want you to say yes or no. Is that okay? If they're not prepared to accept that condition, we don't go ahead. That is a no I've just heard, and I'm perfectly happy with that. And I've saved myself an hour maybe on the phone.
Yeah.
You know? Similarly, you know, if they say that there are a few big key points in any sales presentation where if the answers are no or a yes, but you know, if it means no, they can't go ahead or won't go ahead, then we stop there. Another one is, for instance, you know, just to confirm that everyone who needs to be on the call to make a decision today is on the call. Mm-hmm. If they're not, well, the call doesn't go ahead. Again, it stops. And if that's so, well, we ain't going to do it then, you know. Or you need to speak to me before you speak to the boss. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, there is.
Sorry.
Go on.
I was just going to say it's ridiculous. I feel the need to say it, but I feel like I do need to say it. This is not high pressure sales tactics. These are not dirty sales tactics. They're only dirty and they're only high pressure if you make it that way. You slip it in casual as you like. Hey, is everyone here in order to you know, get a decision today? Yeah, no, it's that simple. These things are only difficult, sleazy, slimy, high pressure if you make them. Being that way is a choice.
Absolutely. I mean, I suppose in some ways someone might say, "Hey, you're putting me on the spot." Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's not high pressure. And I also suppose it's reasonable to say pressure is what you perceive.
Everything's
so they might say it's high pressure because you're forcing me to say yes or no. Yeah, okay, fine. But what I take from high pressure is say a salesman who won't accept no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what
I want to be very clear about my perception of high pressure sales would be foot in the door, literally won't stop, keeps overriding and shouting almost over objections, invalidating what the client's telling you. That to me would be high pressure. Merely asking someone for a decision is assertive. It's not high pressure at all. Now, some people would say it's high pressure because they want to put responsibility for their feelings on you. I don't want to have to answer right now. Well, tough. I want you to answer right now because if you're not, I'm not prepared to go ahead. And this is really fucking important. We had a training last night on rules. There is absolutely nothing wrong in saying, if you want me to do X, you must do Y. You don't have to do Y, but if you don't do Y, I'm not doing X. And what I'm saying is, if you won't get the person who makes the decisions on the phone, or you won't give me a decision at the end of the call, I'm not doing the call.
It's courteous.
What's wrong with that?
It's courtesy. It's
It's
simple.
And it's consent.
It's consent, and it's courteous to say to them, hey, in this call, I'm going to present you the solution to your problem, which in itself has value. The fact that there is a solution out there and you have made one for them. To ask for them to simply give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it's courtesy. It's courtesy to yourself for the work that you've already done. It's courtesy to them and their time. Because if they're just not going to make a decision today, well, ultimately, there's no point in giving the presentation there. You may as well do it when they are in a position when they can give an answer.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Everyone's time. It's courtesy. You're spot on with what you said, though. It's perception. That's
exactly what we do when we say, I want a yes or a no. And if you're not prepared to give me a yes or a no, then we won't do the call until you are. Yeah. We're saving our time.
It's not throwing toys out the pram.
People saying, oh, I need to think about it. When you've answered all their questions, they've got a problem. You've shown them you understand the problem. You've shown them you can solve the problem. They've accepted you've answered all their questions. What is there to think about? You either want to solve this problem, and you've asked them in the sales presentation, is this important to you to get solved? So it's important for them to get solved. You can solve it. You understand how to solve it. They want it solved. What the fuck is there to think about? You either want to do it or you fucking don't. So we establish all these things fairly early on, sometimes right up front, sometimes even before the sales presentation. We establish these things. So when I get on that call, me saying I want a yes or a no isn't out of the blue, isn't unexpected, isn't unreasonable. So that's the first thing. You want to hear a no as soon as you possibly can. It frees up your time and energy. Now, I want to talk now about the power of heavy filters.
Before you do that.
Yes.
Before you do that, I can't believe I let this slip. The fucking state of you in that vest. I can't believe I've let it get this far. The cleavage on that.
That's my pecs. You're just jealous,
wow.
mate.
Wow. Again, I don't like addressing the listeners because I want this to be like in the pub. But if I was in the pub and you walked in wearing that, fuck me, would I rip the shit out of you. Jesus Christ, Jonathan.
What you mean is...
never calls me Jonathan.
You'd be so attracted to me, you mean?
That is like Miami when HIV was fucking rife, that vest. That's what that vest is. So all you need is
you are just jealous. This is fucking quality. This is from an Australian outfit. Do you even squat? This is fucking quality, mate.
Dude, I squat and I would never wear that.
That's because you squat fucking 20 kilograms and then feel ill afterwards.
Hey, I squat 100. On the leg press, I did like...
That's not... Hang on a minute. 100 kilogram leg press is nothing like a fucking 100 kilogram squat, you piece of shit.
No, leg press, I did like 300, I think.
300 grams?
I've got footballer's legs. My thighs are massive.
Footballer? What's a footballer?
Footballer.
It's a footballer.
A footballer.
Enunciate your words. Footballer.
You're a common little... I ain't taking fucking...
I ain't taking fucking common, you are.
Orative advice from some fucking gay HIV-ridden vest wearing.
Says here in a fucking shit hat with long hair and a fucking headband. Oh, for fuck's sake.
How is this a shit hat?
Drinking fucking Bovril.
It's not a shit hat.
Anyway, where were we? There's nothing wrong. This fucking top. You are just jealous because I've got a fucking physique women fucking wet their knickers for, and you're a long streak of fat fucking chubby piss.
Hey, you're married. That physique is only good for Sarah, young man. So, no, I'm not jealous.
Hey, dude, I have lines of women up my lane throwing their knickers at me.
I'm sure you do.
I'm not making that up.
And when you put your glasses on, you'll realise they are all young men.
Apparently, women used to throw their knickers at Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was not unusual. And that's not. That is a joke. But the knickers thing is apparently true. Mum told me.
Yeah, it's true. They used to make sure they wore them for a couple of days to get that real stank and discharge in it, and then throw
them. You have to spoil it, don't you? You have to.
I'm not kidding. That fresh pussy power smell.
Pussy power. Do you remember
Anyway.
the Powerpuff Girls?
Yes.
Fuck's sake.
Powerpuff Girls.
Flashback.
Do you reckon Tom Jones had a heavy filtering system for the knickers he kept and threw away?
As segues go, that was really shit. Okay, back to heavy filters. I mean, let's face it, a gusset can be a filter of sorts, can't it? Seriously, the power of heavy filters. Talking about having a no right up front, okay? That's, you know, you want to hear a no. Even better is to stop things dead in their tracks with a no from you. So you're not waiting for a no from them, like you are if you're saying, you know, are you okay with giving me an answer at the end of the call, or the decision makers? You're not waiting for a no from them. This is a no from you. Upfront filtering, very heavy. Now we use a process, and anyone, if you're not familiar with it, you should be, because you've probably all watched fucking ER or House or some shit like that, where medical programs, there you have triage. All right, and a triage, it's got its origins, I believe, in the battlefield, where there's it's just 80-20 really. There's a number of criteria they apply to various situations to say, oh, effectively, who's going to live, who's going to die. You know, for instance, on the battlefield, I believe one of them is if the person's screaming, they're okay, they don't need help because they're in pain. It's the ones who are quiet and bleeding and the ones that really need the help. That kind of thing. But then they further triage and they'll say, well, this person's going to live, this person's going to die. So we use triage. Now we use a similar process. We have depending on exactly what we're doing, it might change, but we'll have a pre-sales script. We'll do a triage call or have a triage form that people will fill in. And the essential thing there is the format of it isn't important. What's important is there's probably 3 to 5 questions on there. I mean, there may be more questions, but there are 3 to 5 important ones which would determine whether or not we go further and they actually get on a sales call with me. Because they might not be suitable. Now, you might think this is snobbery. You might think, oh, you might lose some good clients. Yeah, we might. But that's the point of triage. Yes, it's not 100%, but it's good. It's so good. 80-20, you save a lot of time. So for us, for instance, the questions, the answers we're looking for, depending on what we're doing. So if we say we're recruiting for an elite mastermind, which is a 20K plus investment over a year. All right. So we want people who have got a certain level of profit every month, so they can afford the fees. If they're lower than that, we don't talk to them. There's no point, because we know, one, they probably can't afford it, and 2, they're not going to want to. Second thing is, are they in an ethical business? Because if they're not, we don't want to work with them. Third is, do they have a challenge we can actually help with? So if they come to us and say, look, we can't get decent clients, yeah, we can help you with that. We struggle to raise our prices, we can help you with that. If you come to us and say, we got staff problems, we can't find the right staff, we probably wouldn't bother, because that's not our expertise. So we have these, we have a set of triage questions, heavy upfront filtering. And it starts right from the minute you ever read your first email or advert or LinkedIn post from me, because you're exposed to my personality. And I start filtering you out. I swear that will filter some people out. I'm autistic. That will filter some people out. I've got a very uncompromising attitude to various things. I'm a libertarian. I'm not left wing. Those things too will filter people out. You know, these things, they're not contrived, meaning I don't put them on, but they are deliberate. My exposing them to the world is quite deliberate. I'm not thoughtlessly unprofessional. I'm deliberately unprofessional for a fucking good reason. Because by the time people do get to work with us, by the time we get them on a call in Foundations, you know, by the time we get them in a meeting in Elite, they know exactly what the fuck they're getting into. So when I start swearing and laughing and we start making off-color jokes and comments about fucking Madeline McCann jokes, the people are laughing because they're our kind of people.
Yeah, if you think
heavy upfront filtering, it will. Yes, it cuts down your fucking. It doesn't cut your sales down. It narrows your market, but it makes things so much easier. It leads necessarily to automatic sales, because the people you're actually selling to are already over a long period of time predisposed to be softened up to buying from you. That's it, really.
Yeah, plain and simple. And if you think this podcast is obscene and out there and outrageous, fuck me. It's no wonder I'm so fucked up. I went to my first Elite meeting when I was 18. The things I heard were enough to last me a lifetime. I kept going back and back and back for fucking 7 years.
The things we did to you.
unforgettable in a good way. It was the vest, John. It was the vest that drew me in.
It was the tightness of your 18-year-old arse that drew me in, mate.
Or was it?
Yeah, great.
Anyway.
Yes, I shut him up. I managed to shut him up.
Oh, so, you know, I mentioned about the bleeding arsehole.
Oh, yeah.
It might be related. You might want to get yourself checked out.
You did. You did.
Anyway. What's the uno minuto hato?
The 1 minute hate. It's irrational hypocrisy and a specific example thereof.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I've been having a conversation. It's been quite a robust conversation, but it's not been heated, and we do generally see eye to eye, and it's a very civilized conversation with Rosie, my youngest daughter, about the stuff that's going on with feminism and women being attacked and things. We don't have different opinions. We have different perspectives on the same thing. So it's not like we're arguing, because we're not, absolutely not. But there's something I pointed out to her, which again, this is quite interesting. So yeah, a 1 minute hate on irrational hypocrisy, which I'm seeing a lot of. For instance, yesterday,
by your daughter.
Hey?
Motivated by your daughter.
No, not really. That's just coincidental. It's just it's just made it top of consciousness. No, we are not. I mean, we're not arguing about it at all. It's an interesting exchange of views. What I noticed yesterday, though, there was somebody I saw. There's several people actually have seen this. Women who don't actually have, for instance, women who don't have children of their own, who say men can't have opinions on women's issues because they're not women. Fair enough. Then telling those very same men how to raise their own children when they have none of their own. Well, that beggars belief. Fuck off. I've raised a son. I have a son who is respectful towards women and others. He knows boundaries. He respects boundaries. The rest of it. He's assertive. He's strong. All the rest of it. I didn't need some fucking woman telling me how to do it. Especially some woman who's not got kids of her own. Thank you very much. That is beyond the pale. They can't see the problem with this. And I'm frankly tired of it. I am tired of being beaten with my own penis.
So let's do the 1 minute hate, because
let's do the 1 minute fucking hate.
This is going to be rather spectacular. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Right, a specific thing. It's nothing to do with fucking children. Now, men need to stop telling women what to wear and to manage their own feelings. We keep getting told this. I absolutely fucking agree. A woman walks down the road in a fucking short skirt, bikini, stark fucking naked. She is not asking for it. Leave her the fuck alone. Everybody with the right fucking mind agrees with that. But at the same time, we have women telling men they've got to wear less aggressive clothes, have less aggressive haircuts. Even some have said about tattoos and jewelry, because it makes them afraid. No, 3 times fucking no. If you can't manage your own feelings because of what men are wearing, why the fuck are we supposed to manage ours because of what you're wearing? That is irrational fucking hypocrisy. Yes, it's a decent thing if men are more considerate around women and think, a woman's walking towards me in the dock, I will cross the road. If that's not on your radar, you can't be criticised for it. Get a fucking grip. They're your feelings, you deal with them. It is not our problem how you feel about it, like it's not your problem how we feel about you.
But I'm buddy.
But it's true, isn't it?
It is true. It is true. You know? I've always tried to be as courteous as.
Don't get me wrong. I really don't like the thought. I really don't like the thought of women being. The thought of, say, me walking down the street and a woman being frightened, seeing me coming, because there's no reason for her to be frightened, but she doesn't know that. It's not a very nice thought. I don't like the thought of it at all. There's nothing I can do about it, really, for several reasons. One is because I'm not in her head. And two, and this is really quite important, the two is because of I'm autistic and my alexithymia, it's not even occurring to me she might be afraid.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm doing. If I see a woman walking towards me down the street at night, you know what I'm doing? I'm ignoring her. I'm not going to make eye contact, not because I don't want to upset her, but because I don't like to make eye contact. I will ignore her completely. If it occurred to me, oh, she might be afraid, I would cross the road. Of course I would, because I'm not a pig. But the thing is, it's not only on my radar, I don't have a radar. So where does that then leave us? It doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me an autistic person. It actually, by definition, makes me disabled, and I'm being then discriminated against by disability. Well, what does that make those people who do that?
Yeah.
Now, this is not all black and fucking white.
No,
Not what people like to seem to think it is. And you know what else pisses me off?
What?
If you so much as raise any kind of objection to any of this, that being one of them, for instance, hey, I've got no way of knowing you're upset if you're walking towards me. How am I supposed to tell this? Then being told, well, you're just part of the problem. These women and some men, they want to recruit us onto their side, and we'd be good recruits for their cause. We're strong, we're assertive, we're intelligent, we're articulate, we're respectful. We are willing to speak out against other men who abuse them. We're willing to intercede physically if necessary. We are good recruits. The only thing, is it a good way to recruit people to your cause by belittling them and telling them that you're part of the problem because you don't agree with everything I say all the time? You know, we are quite within our rights to say, look, I don't abuse women. I don't disrespect women. I'm responsible for my thoughts and my feelings, my actions, and no one else's. So it's your problem, not mine. Sort it out yourself. Yeah. We're quite entitled to do that. But we don't because we're decent men. But wait, stop fucking beating us with our own penises. It hurts. You know? It's painful and it's exhausting, isn't it? Don't you find it? Is it just me?
I think it's more for you, so you're a parent, first and foremost. Two, I'm just a millennial fuck nugget who's just obsessed with growing a company and couldn't give two shits about most things, but I do care about these things. One, you're a parent, so it affects you more. Two, there's another level of hypocrisy in there, and they don't actually recognize the fact that you're autistic yourself. So walking past someone on the street genuinely can be a little bit of not very pleasant for you because you are just so focused on yourself. Don't make the eye contact, head down.
I don't have my head down, but I don't make eye contact. I mean, I'm aware of what's going on. But.
And so that's a perfectly legitimate reason. Me, I've always crossed the road if it's late at night, but I don't do that just for women. I do it for men too. I just think it's courtesy. I don't really want to be walking past someone and have to do the awkward shuffle. Who's going left? Who's going right? I don't want to see if you have to do the awkward head nod. Nor do I want to risk any any chance of being robbed. Or do I want to risk making someone else feel uncomfortable? Again, if most people just kept to themselves, abided by some simple, basic principles in life, it'd be a lot better. What you said earlier hit home the most. Ultimately, we all want this. 80% of the population want the same thing. Yeah, it descends into madness and to arguments over stupid details. You've said it before, it's why revolutions always fail. It's why these things always fucking fail, because people are fucking idiots. They end up getting caught on some stupid detail, which for the most part is largely irrelevant when it comes to the greater picture of the cause. And it riles someone like yourself up. And as you said, you'd love to champion this cause. You'd love to, be a face for it. You'd love to be able to set an example for other men and to lead by example. It's what you do, but it's got to the point where
can't be bothered.
It becomes so pathetic. It's sad. It's sad. I wouldn't ever want if I have a daughter, I wouldn't want them ever feeling the way I'm reading and hearing.
No,
women feeling it. It kills me, but that does not give a right to say you must do this, you must do that.
This is exactly
take
the
accountability
point.
For your own emotions first.
Well,
I asked my girlfriend, so I'll finish this little spiel in a second. I asked this girlfriend, my girlfriend, this girlfriend, that's bad, slip of the tongue, could be in trouble. Why is this death of this particular young lady, why does it hit so hard? Because young girls die often, frequently and often. Why is this one hit so hard? And it's because she did everything right that girls are meant to do with this unwritten girl code, which is why she believes there's been this big outcry and has caused a lot of irrationality. But she did all the things that women are meant to do, and she still died. And it's looking more and more likely at the hands of this officer, whether that's tabloids sparking that likelihood, I don't know. But I'm hearing it's more and more likely that it is going to be this officer. But just because something bad has happened to someone who followed all of these unwritten social rules that other people do not know the details of, does not give you a right to behave irrationally and to start telling other people how to behave and what to do and getting sad when they say no. The fact that they are telling you how to bring up your son is certainly crazy.
Well, like I say, I've got 2 daughters. They're both well balanced and intelligent, well, apart from Holly. And I've got a son who's intelligent, he's articulate, he's well behaved, he understands. But they all do. I've managed to bring them up without being told that by anyone, you're not allowed to have an opinion and you must bring up the children this way. Like I said before, I personally do not abuse women. I'm responsible only for my own behaviour. So I wouldn't say I'd like to champion the cause, because I don't champion causes or be the face of it. But, you know, women have got my support, and say from out in the street, done it before. They've got my support then. But this isn't the way to go about getting my engagement to a buy-in, really. I'm tired of it. And I'm not tired of it as in, yeah, it's just silly women going on about it all the time. Shut up and knuckle down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm fed up with being fucking lumped in with all the other wankers who cause all the shit and being told you can't say that, you must do as we say. And you are part of the problem because you don't fucking tick every single box that we insist you do tick. I'm not playing that game. And I don't give a shit what people think about that either. I've even had people say to me, I pity your wife and daughters. Well, why don't you speak to them first before you start slagging me off? Why don't you ask them what kind of a man I am? And then maybe you can have an opinion. My wife actually said to me in the car probably a year or so ago now, we have got the most egalitarian marriage of any couple I know. Well, that's hardly the fucking voice of someone who's being bullied or fucking abused, is it? Unless it's Stockholm syndrome, of course.
It could be Stockholm. It could always.
It's just fucking frustrating. I mean, a lot of this has come from the conversation I had with Rosie. I mean, like I say, it was a perfectly cordial conversation. And she did bring up a couple of perspectives I thought were quite interesting, which I hadn't thought of before. Such as, why is it men never mention their own abuse or violence against them until women bring it up against them? And Rosie said, you know, men do it as a kind of, well, we get hurt too kind of thing. That's possible. There's another possibility too, and that is we don't even think about it until it's mentioned at all. Mm-hmm. And maybe we don't think of it in the same way, violence against us. Maybe we do accept it more of a, that's what happens when you're alive. I don't know. It would require research. But I don't think it's necessarily, not necessarily as simple as men only doing it to say, well, what are you complaining about because we get it too? I don't think it's that simple. Could be. I don't think so.
People forget everyone is inherently selfish, which is why I always say to everyone I know, being selfish is not a bad thing, nor should it be a bad word, because everyone, for the most part, even if they're doing a good deed for someone else, they're doing it for a selfish reason.
Yeah.
Whether it's a payoff in a future scenario, whatever, it doesn't matter. So when these abused men see abused women talking, they're not trying to discredit their abuse. It's just an irrational form and way of bringing it up, because there's data behind this. Men are less likely to be believed when they talk about being abused. When men accuse an abuser, the abuser's less likely to get convicted, and if they do get convicted, they get vastly shorter sentences. And there's data behind this. I'm not chatting shit. And we also have to recognize there are biological differences between men and women, and there always will be. And that is also when it comes to how we interpret things. So men do just see it as, hey, this is part of life and we crack on. So when they see someone else crying about it, irrationally, they go, well, that's not fair because it happens to me too. And I didn't cry about it. And it's either way, the world's fucked up. People should mind their own fucking business.
Absolutely.
Killing people.
And leaving each other alone. I mean, like I say,
leave everyone alone.
I want to be very, very clear. Men should not abuse women physically or emotionally. They should not. It's wrong. I agree. You know, they got the same. We all should have the same right. We do have the same rights, whether or not they're observed is another matter. But equally, we are all responsible for our own feelings, and we are only responsible for our own actions. So, you know, let's be clear about this. Women, nobody has the right not to be afraid. Okay, because that's an internal thing. You manage your own emotions. We do all have the right to be safe and left alone. That's a different thing. You don't have the right to feel safe. You have the right to be safe. That's two very different things, because, you know, some people don't feel safe around small spiders. That doesn't mean to say that spiders are dangerous or wrong. Anyway,
some people don't feel safe in their own homes because they've got anxiety.
Yeah. Good case in point. If I have an anxiety attack, I don't feel safe. Does that mean the whole world should suddenly stop moving around me, and I should be somehow be allowed to force shopping malls and railway stations to be less busy, less brightly lit, and less loud? Why not? I'm supposed to feel safe. No, it's not like that, is it? Our own emotions are our own fucking problem, our own domain.
As long as you are a human living on Earth, as long as you are anything on Earth, to be perfectly honest, you're never truly safe.
Well, no, because you're going to die anyway one day.
That's exactly what I mean. As long as you're living on Earth, you're not safe. You're going to die. It can be through several different mediums, and hopefully everyone does live a long, healthy life. But even if you are sat at home with all the locks and doors bolted, someone can get in if they want to.
If they know where you live, like we do. Anyway,
let's wrap this up. Got rather depressing.
If you want to make more, you want to attract better clients, sell to them at high rates, and have it all delivered to you, filled with a pipeline in the background, which is filled, hands off, on autopilot, so you make more money, less work, less hassle, a few headaches, go to ottpodcast.co.uk and avail yourself of all those resources. They're all free and they're super. In the meantime, stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands. Please do not expect me to cross the road when you see me coming, because I might not. And do not shit on your fingers. See you later. Ta-da.